Hey everyone, welcome back. Roll 'em if you got 'em. Carl's always joined by Dakota.
Hello, everybody.
So we are continuing down our Horde Mode Crusade for Warhammer 40k here, based off of the Poor Hammer podcast, Crusade or Horde Mode, blah 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 blah. We've got a pile of videos on it at this point. If you're listening to this, haven't watched those, you may feel a little lost. Um, this episode we're gonna focus on the Crusade Requisition points. We didn't realize, okay, until because we kind of wanted to get some data in front of us until after game one that the Crusade, the way that it's written right now, these Crusade requisition points, you're only supposed to get like one after each battle.
Yeah, you get like 1 to 2. I think there's some things that can give you like additional, but yes, very
Okay,
few.
yeah, there may
Very few.
be like, oh, what the hell, the agendas. You may be
Yeah.
able to pull like another one from agendas, but as far as the basic document goes, like you only get one after a game, and we didn't realize that. So we'd kind of written some of the Horde Mode Crusade stuff, like, oh, like complete a secondary objective, and you get one Crusade requisition point, or uh, CRP as we're calling them,
hmm
because there's RP in both. Anyways, older episode explains that one. Um, so we got done with the game, and I was like, okay, so I got five from secondaries. I got two from my secret objective. I got one for completing the game. And I was like, okay, I have eight of these. And I went and looked at what you spend them on, and I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, wait, how many of these? Like, it felt like I was like, oh, I have a lot. I can do anything I want.
Yeah.
And then I looked and I was like, oh, you're only supposed to get like four in a 5 game campaign. Uh, four, maybe five or six if you can find them from other places. I couldn't find anywhere specifically that said I got them elsewhere. But um, so we were like, okay, we either have to nuke us obtaining them, which I really didn't like because it was one of the ways that we really meshed the two together,
hmm
or we find cooler ways to spend them. So we created some cooler ways to spend them, and we're going to talk about some of those. And if you guys have any ideas, by all means, please let them in the comments, because we have five of them right now, and I think that there could definitely be room for more. All right, so our first one here, prepped for combat. This is two Crusade requisition points. You purchase this one before the battle. I think all five of these are purchased before the battle. So kind of look at it as like the dudes are up on the ship, putting together the plan, sorta. Whereas
hmm
the horde reinforcement points are like dudes in the middle of the shit putting together a plan. So, prepped for combat, two Crusade requisition points. Purchase it before battle. One of your vehicles with deadly demise. When this vehicle is destroyed, you may choose to have it explode instead of rolling. For me, Death Guard player, obviously the one that comes to mind is like the bloat drones with like the flesh mowers. You just run those things in and you hope the deadly demise triggers. Well, if I got two CRP to spend before the game, I'll buy this. And if I'm running two bloat drones, like I don't have to assign this to anyone. I just know I have a deadly demise in my pocket if someone blows up and I want to use it.
hmm Yeah, I mean it's pretty straightforward. There's a lot of different applications for this. I mean, if we'd had this one before, I know in the last game I killed the Hierophant or however you say it
Yes.
on my Redemptor Dreadnought, not doing anything in combat, then getting killed himself, and then blowing up, and then dealing enough mortals to kill that thing
Yep.
because it was so low. But so yeah, I mean it's just a simple way. I mean the thing with these Crusade requisitions that we made, you're basically looking at gaining about 5 uh CRP every game. So you can always think of like, oh well, just buy 1 or 2 of these fun things.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. Right, next one here. Uh Boistering leadership. 1 CRP. Purchase this requisition before your battle for 1 leader in your capital reinforcements. When adding a unit from your capital reserves, you can add this character to that unit. The character must be one that you can normally lead the unit. This requisition costs 1 CRP per 50 points of the character cost. So basically, you can add one of your characters that's in like your character pool to your reinforcements pool, and like have it lead a unit. So we have it written right now where they can't technically lead units because you're mostly just dropping in units. We didn't want to have like this drop in be like too powerful where you take your most expensive units all the time that are just very good.
Right. You throw your best
Now,
attachment in them and full send.
yeah, now it lets you play around with it, spend some resources. It shouldn't be too bad. I mean, it'd be like Carl in his last game dropped in the
The
Terminator dudes.
yep, Death Shroud.
I'm not sure what attaches to them, but if you could have brought in, spent two CRP and the points for the character, you could have brought him in with them, and then just had like a little bit better of a unit.
Yes.
So
And then yeah, that one CRP per 50 points. So if a attachment's 125 points, that'll cost 3 CRP. You purchase it before the game for that character specifically. So whatever and you might have 3 characters in your um, capital reinforcements, but just one of them is going to buy this, and you can put it on multiples, sure, but
yeah,
you're gonna look at a lot of resources for dudes that may not be seeing the battlefield.
yeah, and most characters too, they're running from like plus 50 or more points to about 125, unless they're like really good characters
Mm-hmm.
that are almost like a unit in themselves. So it's roughly 2 to 3 CRP that you're going to
Yep.
spend.
Okay. Next one here, focused command purchases requisition before the battle. During your command phase, you can attempt to gain a command point by rolling a number equal to or less than the points spent on this requisition on 1d6. So, example here, if I got 1 CRP left before the battle, I say, hey, I'm going to purchase focused command. In my command phase, I roll a d6. If I roll equal to or less than a 1, I get a command point, because you don't generate command points the normal way in Horde mode. You don't just get one at the beginning of the round. You have to find ways to earn them. Um, so if you got one and you just want to throw it on this, cool. If you spent 6 points on this, you guaranteed to get a command point every single round, because obviously you're going to roll equal to or less than a 6. A 4, if I spent 4 on this, I got to roll equal to or less than a 4. It's pretty simple. It's just a nice way to kind of generate some command points. I know I was starving for command points because my tally man went 1 for 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't even in the last game. I didn't take anything to generate command points,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have any. And playing like Space Marines Gladius, which is what I was playing, it's kind of it's kind of a CP hungry detachment where you're like, oh, the strats are good, spend CP to like do better instead of just and like the detachment rules are mediocre. Well, not mediocre, they're pretty good, but they're not the reason you're taking them.
But they want those command points.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
command
I
points,
feel
like
ya.
they're real pretty important for doing more and making your units better.
Yes, I kept wanting to do some of the Death Guard things to pick up sustained hits or whatever, or Overwatch with the Death Shroud because they have torrent
Mm-hmm.
weapons, and I was like, I can't do a lot of the things I wanted to do. So this was a way to hopefully mitigate that and adding a
Yep.
second tally man, because once again you were allowed to break that rule. So with this way, I might be able to generate, hopefully a command point per round if I have 3 shots at it.
Yeah, yeah, and then the next game, I'm just biting the bullet and I'm bringing Asriel.
Yep.
Like he's cool. I like how I have mine painted, and not that we're playing this in person, we're playing on TTS most of the games, but I just like him. I'm like, okay, I'm bringing him now.
And
Like,
he's guaranteed, right?
yeah, he's literally like start of your command phase, gain one
Yeah.
additional CP, so or
Cool,
one
cool.
CP. So yeah, he's pretty goaded.
Yeah, so like a lot of these Crusade requisitions, I was just trying to think of ways to plug some of the holes
Yeah,
that we're having. We were bringing dudes off the ship, and we kept trying to figure out how to add a leader to them, but not to get something for nothing. And then it was like, okay, like maybe we can use these Crusade requisitions to start plugging some of these holes. And on paper, so far, I think it feels pretty good.
yeah. All right, what is the next one here? Genetically modified. It's 2 CRP. Purchase this requisition before the battle. An enhancement to one character. you do not pay the points for this enhancement in list building. This enhancement expires after one game. Enhancements purchased this way may be applied to characters in the capital reserves. So essentially, just do what it says. Put an enhancement on a character. Pretty simple and straightforward. It actually gives you probably like 10 to 50 points maximum of just like a little bit of additional cushion, but it also buffs a character up. So if you are like me and a Space Marine player, you can take your Bolter Discipline aggressors that can kill God, uh, if you want, with a Storm of Fire on the Apothecary Biologist. You can do that, or you can be like, oh, I just really like this specific enhancement for this reason. You can do that too. So
Yeah, I thought about tying a, if the enhancement costs 10, it's 1 CRP. But I was like, I'm just gonna make it 2 because like, I know from like Death Guard and Tyranids are the two I'm familiar with, and I'm pretty sure they're both 10, 15, 20, 25.
yeah,
Like
most
I
are
think
like,
those are my 4 options, and I was like, 2 CRP. I don't care. I was like, you take the 10, take the 25, they cost the same.
yeah, it's it's cool. It's just another way too to get more use out of that codex, because normally too when you're playing, you're like, oh, my this character is going to take an enhancement, and it
Mm-hmm.
just helps synergize better, and everybody enjoys it.
Now, Horde mode also has a reinforcement points thing you can buy that gives you an enhancement also. As we have it written, if you buy it through Horde mode RP, you get to keep it for the rest of the campaign. If you buy it through here, it's only for one game. I think that'll be okay because this is much more of a, like, I know I have these going into the battle. Here it is. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
the Horde mode one, like, you don't know when you're going to get enough Horde RP to purchase that ability. So if you do it, that do, um, you you get to keep it the rest of the game. I don't know. Maybe it's broken. Maybe, or the rest of the campaign. Maybe one of these is broken. Maybe one of these is not good enough. There's really only one way to find out. We got to play more games.
Yeah, definitely too. I'm not even sure how many Horde mode uh, RP it does cost to do that, but usually when you're in it, you're like, man, I need to spend or save my RP to like bring in a unit or like do something else that's cool that Horde mode allows you to do
Right.
versus like spending it on a enhancement. So it's
So the Horde mode one, searching for it. Oh, it's only one.
oh, it is only one.
I thought it was. I thought it was like 4, because for the Horde mode RP, we're basically always saving up for like the 6, the 10, the 10. Like
Mhm, yeah.
we're we're
Well, I
we're looking
mean,
for those heals. We're looking for those reinforcements.
yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
like, I always have a hard time justifying spending that one to be like, I'm gonna spend one right now to give this character this thing that might not even be applicable because I didn't plan for it because I didn't have it before the game.
Yeah, I don't know. That is interesting.
That is interesting. I did
One
not realize it was
one
one.
might not be enough. We may have to add one to that list to be like, hey,
Right, yeah. This now two.
all right, I lost my place here. All right, here we go. And then the final one that we have so far is a change in command. For the battle, in between battles, whatever you want to call it, you hand over command of your forces to a new warlord between battles. XP and battle scars gained stay with the characters they were on. It's just the check mark next to the name that changes. Dakota read this one and he was like, "Oh, I didn't know that we couldn't change warlords anyways." And I was like, "I'm not entirely sure, honestly, but in my head, I was thinking that the warlord was the warlord until the warlord wasn't the warlord."
Yeah, my warlord died in the first one. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna pick a new one anyways.
So there we go. So he's picking a new one. I'm gonna stick with the Tallyman, and going forward, we're both going to play the rule that the warlord is the warlord till the warlord ain't the warlord.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Once again, after the campaign, we'll go back through this whole thing and kind of see how it all is shaken out.
Yeah,
But
it shouldn't really be like too bad. You might never use this one because if you might just keep a warlord till he dies. Like I'm gonna take Azrael, I'm gonna make him my warlord. He's probably not gonna leave my army until I run out of Azraels.
right,
So
which is, I mean, if we're only playing 5 rounds, we've already played one, so
yeah.
he has, using the soft core rules for epic characters, he gets essentially 3 lives. So as long as he lives through one battle, he'll be here for all
Yeah.
4 of the rest of the battles.
No, and in theory he should live.
Yeah,
In
so
in, in theory.
in theory, if you guys have any ideas, by all means, leave them in the comments. You can come over to our Discord channel. You can reach us in the I don't know if it's officially Poorhammer's Horde Mode Discord channel. I'm pretty sure it is, but you can reach us in. I'm in that one. Dakota, are you in the Horde Mode Discord?
I think I was in it, but then I think I left because I was getting pinged a lot. So then I was like, I'm done with this for now.
Okay. Either way, if you're in there, we're in there. Our Discord or the comments on this video is probably the best place, especially if you
Mhm.
like thumbs up while you're at it. We'd greatly appreciate it. But that is all we have for now. We'll have the Battle 2 preview coming up sooner rather than later, along with showcasing the painted models that we have for these battles too. The
Yep.
IRL painted models. Um, and then subscribe to the YouTube. Look out for the post. We will let everyone know when we have that game 2 planned. We will go live. It'd be great if people showed up to hang out and kind of, you know, you we could even let viewers sort of make decisions for the horde. I don't care. It'll be fun. Tell
Yeah.
them, tell them to go attack something else. Whatever. Um, I'm good if you're good.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for joining us on our little Horde Mode Crusade Palooza errata episode. Um, Check us out everywhere. But thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.